Vlogmus day 23. I don't know how far we'll get with this. I'm waiting for my husband currently outside of Menards. And the whole multitude of them arose and led him unto Pilate, and they began to accuse him, saying, We found the fellow perverting the nation, and forbidding to give tribute to Caesar, saying that he himself is Christ, a king. And Pilate asked him, saying, Art thou the king of the Jews? And he answered them and said, Thou sayest it. Then said Pilate to the chief priests and to the people, I find no fault in this man. And they were more fierce, saying, He stirreth up the people, teaching throughout all the Jewry, being from Galilee to this place. When Pilate heard the Galilee, he asked whether the man were a Galilean. And as soon as he knew that he had belonged unto Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him to Herod, who himself also was at Jerusalem at this place. And when Herod saw Jesus, he was exceedingly glad, and he was desirous to see him of a long season, because he had heard many things of him, and he hoped to have seen some miracle done by him. And he questioned with him in many words, but he answered him nothing. The chief priests and scribes stood, and that V word, I don't know what it is, accused him. And Herod, with his men of war, set him at naught, and mocked him, and arrayed him in a glorious robe, and sent him again to Pilate. And the same day Pilate and Herod were made friends together, for before they were an enemy between themselves. And Pilate, when he had called together the chief priests and the rulers and the people, said unto them, Ye have brought this man unto me, as one that perverteth the people. And behold, I, having examined him before you, have found no fault in this man touching those things whereof ye accused him. No, nor yet Herod, for I sent you to him, and lo, nothing worthy of death is done unto him. This is out of the King James Bible, too. I will therefore chasteneth him and release him, for of necessity he must release one unto them at the feast. And they cried out all at once, saying, Away with this man, and release unto us Barabbas, who for a certain sedation made it to a city, and for a murder, and cast into prison. Pilate therefore, willing to release Jesus, spake him to them. And they cried, saying, Crucify him, crucify him. And they said unto the third time, Why? What evil hath he done? I have found no cause of death of him. I will therefore chasteneth him, and let him go. And they were instant with loud voices, requiring that he might be crucified. And the voices of them that the chief priests prevailed. And Pilate gave sentence to them that he should be as they have required. And he released unto him that of the sedation and murder, and cast into prison, whom they desired. And he delivered Jesus to their will. And they had led him away, and laid hold upon Simon, a Cyrene, coming out of the country, and on him they laid a cross, and he might bear it after Jesus. And there followed him a great company of Jesus and of women, which also bewailed and lamented him. And Jesus, turning unto them, said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For behold, the days are coming, in which they shall say, Blessed are the barren, and the wombs that never bare, and the paps which never gave suck. Then shall they begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, and to the hills, cover us. For if they do these things in a green tree, what shall they do in a dry? And there were two others, malefactors, led him in to be put to death. And when they were come to the place which is called Calvary, they had crucified him, and the malefactors in the right hand, and the other on the left. And said Jesus, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his raiment, and cast lots. And the people stood beholding, and the rulers of them that derailed him, saying, He saved others, let himself save, if he be Christ, the chosen of God. The soldiers were mocked him, coming to him, offering him vinegar, and saying, If thou be the King of the Jews, save thyself. As a subscription Also written above him the letters of Greek and Latin and Hebrew, This is the King of the Jews. And one of the malefactors which were hanged railed on him, saying, If thou be Christ, save thyself and us. But the others answering rebuked him, saying, Does not thou fear God, seeing thou art in the same condemnation? And we indeed justify, for we received the due reward of our deeds. And the man that had done nothing, Amos. And he said unto Jesus, Lord, remember me when thou comest into thy kingdom. And Jesus said unto him, Verily I say unto thee, today thou wilt be with me in paradise. And it was about the 6th hour that there were darkness over all the earth until the 9th hour. And the sun was darkened, and the veil of the temple was rent in the midst. And when Jesus had cried, a loud voice, he said, Father, into the hands I commend thy spirit. And having said thus, he gave up the ghost. And when the centurion saw that this was done, he glorified God, saying, Certainly this was a righteous man. And all the people that come together to the sight, beholding the things which were done, smote their breasts in return. And all his acquaintance and the women that followed him from Galilee stood afar off, beholding these things. And behold, there was a man named Joseph, a counselor, and he was a good man and just. The same had not consented to the counsel and deed of them. And he was I don't know what that A word is, a city of the Jews, who also himself waited for the kingdom of God. This man went unto Pilate. He begged the body of Jesus. He took it down and wrapped it in a linen, and laid it in a sculpture which was hewn in stone, and wherein never man before was lain. And that day was the preparation, and the Sabbath drew on. The women also which came with him from Galilee followed after, and behold the sculpture, and how his body was laid. And they returned and prepared spices and ointments, and rested on the Sabbath day, according to the commandment.